So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our series of webinars on International Language Center. Um, First of all, let me check if you can hear me well. So could you please drop a plus into the chat if you can hear me? Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Natalia. Okay, all right, perfect. I will probably try to speak a little bit louder because there may be some problem with my microphone. So one more time, welcome everyone to our series of webinars. Our first webinar today is going to be how to start an academic year and well, basically the first day activities. My name is Natalia Narodowska-Riz. I'm a teacher of English at International Language Center, and hopefully today I will give you a lot of activities how to make your first day with your new group or class engaging and memorable. So during the webinar, I will ask you to work together with me, so please be ready for that. Let's get started. All right, so today we're going to talk with you about how to, first of all, introduce yourself as a teacher and how to help your students introduce themselves. Then, how to learn their names and how to set the rules and routines. And the last but not least is how to build a community. So we are all hopefully waiting for 1st September, and we are waiting to see our students again, or probably meet our new students, depends on where you work. And we all hope that our first class will look like this, where all the students are ready to work, they're motivated, they're rested after the summer, full of energy and eager to work. However, unfortunately, sometimes we may get this. When students are bored, they are still on holiday and they're not ready to work. So first thing, how we can make our first lesson interesting and engaging for our students. The first thing we need to do is to, of course, introduce ourselves, right, as teachers. So here I'd like to suggest an idea. You can see a star. You can draw this on the board, or if you teach online, again, you can just make it in your PowerPoint presentation. And you need to think of 5 facts about yourself. Here you can see 5 facts about me. They can include names, numbers, different things, or basically anything. And you can ask your students to work in pairs and to discuss what this might be about me, about your teacher. Give them about 5 minutes to do that, and then in the feedback, elicit the answers. Include some interesting things about yourself. For example, here you can see a unicorn, and well, I usually during the first class I say that yes, I believe in unicorns. I think that they still exist, and usually then during the course people or like students make fun of this, so it helps us to get involved together. If you happen to teach in a state school and on the 1st of September, you will see your students who you know already from like they come to you from year to year. This can be easily adapted to a situation where you can ask them to think about their summer, how they spend their summer, 5 facts, 5 things make a star, write 5 words, and then again discuss with your partners. Let them guess how you spent your summer. As you can see, this can be as easily done both online and offline. Now, next activity is going to be 2 truths and 1 lie. For this activity, you need to prepare 3 sentences. 2 facts should be true about yourself, and 1 fact should be a lie. Then you can read these sentences to your students, or you can write them on a board and ask them to, again, work in pairs and discuss which facts are true about you and which is not true about you. Then they do the same for themselves. Give them some time. And in my experience, it usually takes them more than 2-3 minutes, even though you ask them to write like 3 sentences, 3 simple sentences. For some reason, it's very difficult every time. So give them at least 5 minutes for that. And then again, invite them to work in pairs and to guess which of these facts are true and which of them are not. In the feedback, you can elicit the answers and probably ask them like if they found something surprising about their partners. Now, next activity that I prepared for you might be as an extension activity to this one, two truths and 1 lie. In this case, you need to ask your students to introduce their partners to others. So, for example, for the first activity, your students work in pairs, AA, BB, CC, DD, right? Then for the next activity, you ask them to work in groups. You put 2 groups, 2 pairs together, AA, BB, 1 group, CC, DD, another group. And you ask them to introduce their partner to another group, to another pair, basically. And it also happens the same way in real life. We also introduce our friends to others, like, hi, this is my friend Leah. She's 12 years old, and so on. So in this case, they need to introduce their partner to others, and you can ask them to probably find some facts in common, if they have something in common or not. Now, the next activity is Pecha-Kucha. Probably some of you know about this activity. Could you please drop a plus into the chat box if you've ever done this, or if you have any idea what it is? As far as I understand, no, because yeah. All right. So basically, the name is funny, Pecha-Kucha. It comes from a Japanese word, I suppose, or phrase, which is show and tell. This works really great for online classes if you teach online, but it can also be adapted for offline. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I have a secret thing here, but I'm not going to show it to you now. But I will write some facts about this thing that I have, this secret thing here. Your task is, as I'm sending you the sentences into the chat box, read the sentences, and if you have any idea what it is, you can write your answers in the chat box. So, fact number 1. It's not big, but very convenient to take it with me to work every day. Any ideas what it is? Phone, a bag, okay. All right. Any other ideas? Okay. Laptop. All right. Thank you very much for your ideas. Now, the second fact about the tablet, or well, you're very close actually. It's black and it's got a place where I can put my pen. Pencil case. All right. Okay. Okay. And the last fact. I write down all the necessary information during our PD meetings at school and my lesson plans there. A diary. Well, yeah, you're right. This was a notebook. Here it is. You probably can see it. Right. Yes, Rena, this is a notebook. So very easy to do if you teach online. You just ask your students to go and find a thing which they use every day, something they use every day. And then come back and write down 3 sentences about this thing. Then you invite them to work with their partners in breakout rooms if you teach online. And they need to send the sentences or they can just read them out. And the partner has to guess what the thing is. If you teach offline, in this case, they of course won't be able to go around the house and find a thing that they use every day, but they can find something in their bag that they use every day, or they can just find a photo or a picture of this thing, and the idea will be the same. This way, you will be able to collect some of writing samples of your students, which you will probably be able to use in the future. And this might also help you for the future how to plan your future lessons. All right. The next activity is going to be what's the place. So for this activity, you need to prepare a short text, not too long and not too difficult. 4 or 5 sentences will be enough. So basically, you need to read sentence by sentence to your students, and your students need to write the ideas into the chat box to guess what the place is. Now, let's do it together with you. So I'm going to read you about my favorite place in Kiev. If you know what it is, or if you have any guesses, you can write them in the chat box. If this might be just a park or hospital, I don't know, a cinema, or if you know the name of the place, it's even better. Write it, probably you will be right. So, the first sentence. This place is in the city center. It's quite popular with both citizens and tourists. It's very beautiful outside, so a lot of people come there to have their photos taken. Any ideas? Park, thank you, Yana. Okay. Park is the most common answer. All right. But, oh, Krishati, Cathedral. Okay. Okay. But more important than that is that as soon as you open the door, the smell hooks you. And you can't help buying a croissant and a coffee. Any ideas what it is? McDonald's, do they sell croissants in McDonald's? I'm not sure. Okay, cafe, coffee shop. Okay, all right. And probably you, if you follow me on Facebook, probably you will know the name of this bakery, Tatiana. Actually, you're right. So also 2 teachers from ILC, from our school, have a good tradition of having breakfast there every August. Any ideas what the place is? With croissant. Okay, very close, very close. So I'm going to show you a picture of this place. This place is called La Fabrique. It's situated Lvivska Ploshcha, Bulvarna Kudryavska. So yeah, this activity is can be easily done online. You just ask your students to write a short text, 4 or 5 sentences, not too difficult. And then they need to, you can do this basically on the Padlet. They can post their texts there on Padlet and then work in pairs and guess what the place is. If you do this offline, if you work offline, then again, they can write a short text and then work in pairs, exchange their writings and guess what the place is. And then probably let them a minute, give them a minute to discuss why they like this place. If you want to extend this activity and if you teach offline, you can ask your students to mingle around the classroom, and as soon as they finish with one partner, they change a partner and they go to another one, read each other's text and again guess what the place is. At the end of this activity, you can ask your students which places they would like to visit probably in the future. Probably they got some recommendations from other I don't know, other students in the group. All right, so far so good. We're learning more and more about each other, but what problem I usually have at the beginning of the course is names. And unfortunately, I'm very bad with names, and I usually make it clear from the very beginning. I usually tell them that I am sorry, but it will take me probably a week to learn your names. So please be patient with me. And if you have the same problem as I do, so you might find a couple of pieces of advices from me useful. So what I usually do to help myself memorize students' names, especially if you have big groups or classes. In our school, we get the groups up to 10 students, but I know that teachers get to work with 30 or 35 students and have no idea how you manage to memorize their names in like a day or two. So what I found useful for myself is, first of all, as soon as you're a student, as soon as you have the list of the group that you are going to teach this year, go through the list of the names. Sometimes it happens that some students have really difficult names, and I had that problem once. I had a student from China once, and I just couldn't read his name. So it's a good idea to probably go and ask your colleagues to help you. Maybe they know how to pronounce that name, or Google again. But if again you have no idea how to pronounce that name correctly, you can still ask a student and even ask them to help you and to pronounce his or her name slowly, and you like in little bits, and you repeat after them. Just make the fact about, make the point that you are trying to get it right clearly, and I think they will have good, they will be fine with that. Then, second thing you can do is repeat their names as soon as you hear it. It helps me to remember it better. So, for example, they say, "My name is Anya." I say, "Okay, Anna." Then, "My name is Vanya." Vanya, Anya, Vanya. It helps me. Then use their names, of course, whenever it's possible. Every time you talk to them, nominate them using their names. Also, if it it might happen that some of your students might have a um, problem with their name. For example, it's true about me. I hate when people call me Natasha. So I make it clear from the very, very first meeting that I'm not Natasha, I'm Natalie or Natalia, whatever you want to call me, but not Natasha. And because of that, during the first lesson, I always ask my students how they would prefer to be called. If they say Anya, I ask them, how would you prefer to be called, Anna or Anya? And I also think we should avoid as teachers calling their names like Anichka, Anushka, because again, you're not in the kindergarten, you're teaching them, and they should be equal to you. So the next thing what I usually do is I can take a piece of paper and just quickly draw a room map. Basically how the seats are arranged in the classroom. This is more or less how we arrange the seats in the classroom. And then as you go, you can write their names. It will probably help if you are a visual learner, but we probably shouldn't say like that, but still, you will probably remember their names better if you remember, like, okay, in this set, there was Vanya, okay. Also, this piece of paper I use then in the future, basically during the first months, because as I get to know more and more about my students, I also tend to jot down a couple of facts about them. For example, Julie, she likes swimming, and Victor, he does karate, and Kostya hates apples, something like that. This information I then later in the course I might use for some activities, or even when, for example, you teach tech questions, you can do a quick presentation of tech questions saying like, Kostya, you hate apples, don't you? And when they see that you are listening to them, it helps you to build good rapport with your students, good relationship, and they trust you quicker and better. Another thing, again, which can help you memorize their names is, of course, using name tags and name cards. If it's online, it's easy because usually their names are written right in front of their video. But, well, unless, of course, they write something funny or stupid there, which sometimes happens. But in an offline class, you can prepare pieces of paper and just quickly, so for example, I have a piece of paper and I fold it. That's it. My name tag is ready. They write their names and they put them in front of them. If you have name tags, that's even better. You don't need to prepare anything. You just give them the stickers and they write their names, stick it on their t-shirt, and perfect, done. Then, as I've said, make the fact that you're trying to learn their names clear, and don't be ashamed of that. Also make it a game for yourself. So for example, if you think that you've memorized someone's name, ask them to remove the tag from their shirt, or ask them to flip over over the card. Students will see how you are going step by step, and it will be very nice when you will have all the tags removed probably, or cards flipped over. They will also help you with that a lot. I remember I had one student last year. For some reason, I kept calling him Vanya, but he was Misha. And everyone, they was laughing every time, and everyone corrected me. I got it after a month. Finally, I got it, but still, they encouraged me every time. So that's okay. And also one thing, don't say sorry. Don't apologize too much. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got your name wrong. This is completely fine if you do that. So I think there shouldn't be any problem. Then you can also play name games with them. One thing you can do, you can ask them to stand in alphabetical order of their names, and then when they've done that, they just say their name and you repeat after them. Or you can play a game which is a pass the ball. So, for example, if you have this, of course, can be done only in a offline class. If you have a ball, great. If you don't have a ball, you can take any toys that you have in your classroom, or you can just make a ball, taking a piece of paper. That's it, and the ball is ready, easy peasy. So the idea is the students stand in a circle, you stand together with them, and what you do. So for example, you say, my name is Natalie, and you pass the ball to another student. They catch it and they say, my name is Vanya. So they need to repeat, her name is Natalie and my name is Vanya. They throw the ball to another person. Another person catches it and says, his name is Vanya, my name is Kate. And the game continues like that until everyone said their names. Then you can extend this and you can make it a little bit kind of more challenging. You, again, at the end, take the ball and you say, my name is Natalie and I like croissants. And you throw the ball to another student catches it, says, her name is Natalie, she likes croissants, and my name is Vanya, I like, I don't know, tractors, for example. And they do like that again until everyone gives a fact about each other. Then you can extend this and you can go for as long as you want, basically given 1, 2, 3, 4 facts about each other. You will see how it will be first difficult for them, because what happens usually, they are not used to listening to what others say, and they usually stand like wait for their turn to say something, and then when they see that they have to listen to what others say, they get a little bit surprised. But this also teaches them in the future that they have to listen to their partners, not just wait for their turn to give their answer. Okay. The next thing that is also very important, I think, on the first day, after we've finished with our names and we've done a couple of icebreakers, then we need to establish the rules. I really believe that this is very important to do from the very, very first day, because both students and teachers should know what to expect from the course, from this year. And this should be absolutely clear for both teachers and students. Of course, you can give them just a list of rules and say, that's how we're going to do this. Just accept the fact. Or you can turn it into a very engaging and, I suppose, collaborative activity. So, what you can do, you can run a rule dictation. You need to prepare this table before the lesson. Then during the lesson, you give a piece of paper with this table to your students, and you say that you're going to dictate a couple of rules. They listen to you and they write down 2, 3 keywords about this rule in the box, depending on how they agree or disagree with you. So, for example, let's say I'm going to dictate a rule and my students will write them down. So, rule number 1, all homework must always be done on time. My student listens to the rule and says, okay, I partially agree with it. So, quickly writes a rule in this box where he partially agrees. Then next one, if I don't understand something, I should stay quiet. The student might decide why. No, I disagree, and hopefully they will disagree with this. I mean, fingers crossed. Next one, mobile phones should be switched off at all times. Okay. Again, the student might partially agree with you or like agree with you. After you've done, you've dictated 10 rules, you invite them to work with their partners and to discuss and agree on a rule. For example, do 100% of homework. My student says that he partially agrees. He might say, well, why should I do? What if I can't finish all 100%, but I can do like 80% of my homework? And another student will say, well, yes, I think 80% is reasonable. Why not? So they will write a new rule. We must complete 80% of homework for each class. Fine. So they go through the list of these rules and they adjust these rules to how they think it will be workable for them during this year. Then you can run this as a pyramid discussion. So first your students work in pairs, basically A, B, B, C, 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 C. Then you regroup them. They work A, B, C, D. Then they work as the whole group. At the end of this discussion, they need to agree on 10 rules that they think they can accept during this year. After the whole class agreed on 10 rules, you can start in the feedback, you can start discussing these rules with them. And they will say, for example, like, we can have food in the classroom. We agreed that we can have food in the classroom. We can have food in the classroom, sorry. And you can say, well, I see what you mean, but no, sorry. I don't accept this rule because I have to clean after this and I have only 10 minutes between the classes. So I'm sorry, we have the cafe on the second floor. We have the hallways. You can have your lunch there, but no food in the classroom. I don't accept this. This is fine if you don't want to accept this rule, but also if you show that this is that you are flexible. For example, mobiles, we shouldn't switch mobiles during our lessons. You say, well, okay, I agree with you, but you shouldn't use your mobiles unless there is need for that, or if we are using mobile phones for an activity. Again, if you show that you are flexible and you are ready to listen to them and hear their needs, they will more likely to open up more quickly. What I usually try to avoid rules which they will agree immediately with. It's even better to include a couple of rules that they will disagree probably, like if you don't understand something, you should stay quiet. They will say, well, no, if I don't understand something, I want to ask you, teacher. And you will say, yes, I agree with you. And I think that you should ask your questions if if you don't understand something, or if you need my help. For these rules, I usually try to include, if it's an offline class, I usually include things like phones, things like keeping the classroom clean. I never basically arrange the classroom for them. They do it for me, so to say. And I never clean the board after the class. Again, they do everything for me. So things like that. Then masks, of course, nowadays it's very important. If it's an online class, then you can include a rule about cameras on, if you care about this, if it's important for you. Also rules about homework, about being on time, and what is very important for me, I usually discuss with them during the first lesson how much time they have to submit their writings. For example, if it's an exam group, we negotiate how much time they have since they got the task to submit their writing. And then also very important to avoid this, like, teacher, have you checked our writings? I also negotiate how much time I have to check their writings and give them back. Then to avoid all the difficulties during the course. So after you finish with the rules you agreed, you can ask your students to write them down, basically to make a class contract. You give them a piece of A3, different markers or pens, and they can write down the rules that you've agreed on. Also, you can ask them to think, probably they would like to add something that is not on this list. Last year, I was surprised, really surprised, because I didn't think about that. But when I asked my teenagers if they probably want to add something, one of the girls said, can we make a rule that students shouldn't smoke before the class? And here you can imagine my amazement, because you don't expect students to smoke, right? Look, I mean, teenagers. But then I looked at the rest of the girls, and they were like, yeah, that's a good idea. So basically, all of them agreed on this rule. I don't know if any of those students smoked or not, but they put that on their class contract, and I've never felt any smell from them. Also, you can leave some space in this contract, because over the course you might want to make some amendments. For example, the first months, they are adjusting to the group, to the process of learning, and then things start happen, and something new pops up, and you might say, no, this is not good. So let's negotiate, and again, let's put this on our contract. So leave some space for amendments for later. This is the picture just from the internet, but this is just to give you an idea how it might look like. And to help your students to write these rules, of course, you can scaffold it a little bit and give them the prompts that they can use, like students must be on time. Never have a sandwich in the classroom, go to the hallway, something like that. Then the last thing I'd like to talk about is building a community. So yes, everything that I talked about today is, I hope, is nice and supposed to be correct. But the most important thing is to help students build a community where they would feel comfortable and they would work to achieve their best results. And because of that, I think that we should start from the very, very beginning. There is there are some stages of group development which Bruce Tuckman suggested, and let me just guide you through them. So the first stage that each group or each class goes through is forming. This, if you think about all the groups that you've taught, think about September. They come to school and they are all fresh. They don't know each other. They come with their expectations, with their fears, probably. They have their doubts how they will get along with students and with a teacher in this group. So they're trying to adjust to everything, and they tentatively check out all the members in the group. They start to find how they can fit into this group as a whole. Then next, what happens? The next stage is storming. This probably more or less happens at the end of September, beginning of October. So once they their immediate, so to say, initial personal worries are calming down, they know where they stand, the group starts to attack the tasks. What happens? Those rules that you've established, they start breaking down. For example, they don't do their homework, or they're late for the class. So they check where they can kind of avoid and omit this and that thing. Ideally, you should skip the, like, go through the stage as quick as possible. Then, probably sometime in November, things begin to settle down. Students start to agree with how they things should be done, and they start engaging with their own responsibilities. They start collaborating, working together, supporting each other. Then ideally they start performing. So this usually happens like November, probably December, when the group is functioning at its peak. They're all hardworking, doing the tasks well, they're engaged, they want to achieve high results. Ideally, these two stages you should go as quick as possible through. And then ideally, again, you should stop on this performing. However, very often you might get stuck between storming and norming. And from norming, things might go back again to storming, and then from norming to storming, and again. Also, if you think about your previous probably academic year, what happens, they work well November, October, December, so like they are on performance stage. Then they have their winter holidays, they come back and they go back to storming. They start again checking, maybe something can be changed, maybe they can skip their homework, maybe they can misbehave, maybe so very important is to recognize those stages and to be able to go through them as fast as possible. And because of that, I believe that we should start from the very, very beginning, and all the rules that you want your students to um, follow during the year, you should establish from the very beginning. You should show how things are done, and because they will, of course, try to um, change it, to negotiate. I always try to show them how it's important to be not only one unit, but to be a teammate. And for that, introduce them more to pair work and group work. Ask them to work together, to negotiate, to probably do things that are relevant to their life, because it's never interesting to role play. I don't know about Vasya and Petya, who they have no idea who these people are. So make the activities more about their life and about themselves. Just to sum up, how to build good habits. So first of all, be consistent with the rules that you've set. As I've already mentioned, if you know what you want to achieve, just stand on this and insist and insist. Next one. During the beginning of the course, include an icebreaker at the beginning of your level. At the beginning of this session, I showed you a couple of ideas of icebreakers. I usually include at least one icebreaker at the beginning of each lesson during the first months. Basically in September, every lesson starts with some icebreaker. It helps them to learn more about each other and to see how they can work well with each other. Then, for the first few lessons, don't focus very much on linguistic objectives. Make it more about, again, building a community. Provide plenty of opportunities for personalization and real communication from the very beginning. So make it about them, about your students, not about something completely irrelevant to their life. And make the learners do the busy work, which is make them arrange the classroom, make them clean this, because if they've built this, if they've made this, they will be more reluctant to ruin what they've made. So because of that, they always clean the board, they always rearrange the chairs in the classroom. If I need to prepare something probably for kids, I don't know, I need to give them little pieces of paper. I won't do it myself. I will give them papers and everything they need to do this, and they will make it for me. They will prepare their own handouts. So in that way, they will care and appreciate more what they get. And the last one is model the behavior you want to see for your students. You should be, of course, a model for them. And if you do so, I hope that you will have a great year, and you will probably see that a lot of things can be changed if and avoided, yes, if we set the right rules and expectations from the very, very beginning. And this is probably everything I wanted to talk to you about. Now, if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat box. I will give you a minute. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. The recording will be sent by our managers. So please be patient. They will get back to you as soon as possible. I think probably on Monday you should receive the recording. Thank you very much for your kind words. If the class is not new, how would you start the first lesson? Again, as I've already mentioned, you can start with the activity with a star, and you can ask them to talk about their summer, how they spend their summer. The same way, thank you. The same way, discuss what they've done. Did they have any adventures? Then you can do this activity after they've finished talking to their partners. You can extend this activity and then regroup them and ask them to ask them to tell others about their partner. By the way, you can make it really clear before asking them to work in pairs and guessing what the ideas in the star is. Ask them to make notes about their partner's answers and tell them to listen carefully, because then in the future they will have to use this information, but don't tell them how. Then as soon as they finish, you can regroup them, and now they will have to talk about their partners. So again, this way, actually teaching them to listen to each other and having more meaningful conversations. Thank you. Thank you very much. So do you sometimes ask them to do a piece of writing or recording themselves and then compare at the end of school year? I have not practiced that yet, but I would like to try. Tatiana, this is a very good idea. I've done this once last year. I asked with my exams group, Zanilo group, they did first writing their first letter. And then at the end of the year, with the final writing that they sent to me, for the feedback, I sent their first letter as well, and kind of told them to show them how they progressed over the course. This is a really nice idea, and you can do this if time allows you to do this. If you probably want to talk them like face to face individually, if time allows, you can. For the recording themselves, it's I love this idea, but unfortunately a lot of students are too shy or too lazy to do that. So you probably should ask them if they are willing to do this, why not? I think it's a great idea. Shy and lazy, that's true, yes. And also they are sometimes not willing to, because as soon as they have to speak and tell something to the camera, they might get frustrated, and this might stop them. So I don't know, again, introduce them. I think if some of them at least will be willing to do that, it will be great. And you will probably need to demo this. If you do this and show them how to do that, they will probably do it more willingly. Do you talk about goals for a new academic year? I usually do. And during setting the rules, you might include such things like, we want to do more grammar, or we want to watch more videos, for example. I think this is fine. You can also put this on your contract, and for you, you will know what they expect from you, what they want from the course. And if they asked for that and they achieved, like they got it, again, they will appreciate your hard work. So yeah. So everyone, thank you very much for your attention. In case you have any questions or you'd like to contact me, you can do this via email, or you can friend me on Facebook. I usually respond more quickly there. Also, I'd like to tell you that our center is a CELTA center. So if you are looking for some opportunities for your professional development, you might consider doing CELTA both online and offline. We have still these two formats. And I think in September, there's going to be a next part-time course. So if you're interested, here is just quick information. You can scan this QR code, and you can contact our managers. They will provide you with more information. But if you feel that you are not ready to do your CELTA, or probably you work more with little kids or teenagers, you might consider doing CELT-P or CELT-S courses. These are basically online courses where you work with a platform and you have some input session during the course. It's a little bit longer than CELTA, but in my experience, I've done CELT-P, and I think it's a great course which doesn't give you, for example, CELTA doesn't give you an understanding how to work with really little kids. So if you work with first to third, fourth grade kids, this might be very useful for you. Again, you can scan the QR code. Thank you very much for your attention. The next webinar will start in half an hour. So if you have registered for that, you can follow the link that you were provided. Thank you very much. I hope that you will have good first day at school, and happy teaching. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope to see you in the future. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone have a good day. Goodbye. See you.